Hey Steppers, I just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about beliefs and hope. It's such an important thing. In step one, we learn that we can make a decision. It's the last bastion of free will and free choice. We make a decision. We've had enough, and then right away in step two, they're telling us what a good decision might be. And beliefs, believe it or not, are a choice. A lot of people don't acknowledge that, but beliefs are really a choice. So when we come to believe, we're making a conscious choice on what to believe. And there are so many important things to bring into play, because beliefs literally shape our destiny. They shape our life. They shape our existence. They shape our experience. So coming to believe is a very, very important choice, and it's an active choice. If you don't make the choice, you will automatically adopt the predominating beliefs of the groups of people that you hang out with or that you spend time with. You will automatically adopt societal beliefs or cultural beliefs. They have a profound influence. And coming to believe, I never really understood it profoundly until I did a research project in school in a sociology course. And sociology, of course, is the study of indigenous cultures around the world and how their societies developed. And I remember doing one on this tribe that was indigenous to Australia. And in this tribe, they sent a group of researchers down in the 50s, and what fascinated the scientists about this particular tribe was that they were living in this technological gap, this cultural gap where they were unaffected by the advances in modern technology. So they were still living as they had lived for thousands of years in their pedigree. So they knew people, but they'd never seen a watch or a helicopter. You know, they were still living in the outback, hunting and gathering as their means. So when these researchers went down to study this culture, they were fascinated by a couple of different things. Number one is how highly evolved and social they were. In other words, they had food that was indigenous to them. They had dance. They had a judicial system, they had an educational system, they had a religious system, they had music, they had theater, they had all the things that modern society enjoys on a cultural level. And one thing that they were particularly concerned with is in their communities, each one of their communities held a social structure, and in this social structure, they had a medicine man or a shaman or somebody who was a healer. And this healer carried this very powerful medicine stick. And the healer would take his very powerful medicine stick, he would point it at one of the tribesmen and recite this curse or this incantation, and the tribesmen would die within 72 hours. Their systems would fail. So the researchers were fascinated by this remarkable power. So they studied the tribe, they studied their diet, they studied their blood, they studied their organs. Everything was fundamentally homeostatic. They were like you or like me. They bled, their organs functioned as normally as anyone else. What really astonished them was that they looked at the stick, and the stick was a normal stick. It was a stick from the ground. There was nothing special about the stick. What they did discover, although, was that what gave the stick power was the tribesman's belief that the stick had power. So when the stick was pointed at the tribesman, he believed it had power, and he had a biological reaction to that belief. His system would literally fail, and he would ultimately die. That was the birth of what is practiced today as placebo medicine, where they'll take a terminally ill patient and give them an inert substance of no pharmaceutical value and say, we've had revolutionary results with this, in labs. It hasn't been approved by the FDA yet, but with your permission, we'd like to dispense it to you. We're confident it'll work. And in many cases, the patient will go into remission on a substance that has no pharmaceutical value. That's how powerful beliefs are. They literally can give life and they can extinguish life. So we have to carefully choose what we believe. Now, all too often in our culture, in the 12-step fellowship, in our society of men and women, what I see is the individual takes the stick and points it at himself. Oh, I'm sick, I'm suffering, I have a disease, there's no cure, I was born with it, my mother's cousins, friends, neighbors, pet iguana had it, I have it, my kids have it. They see the world through this paradigm, through this belief system, that everything is sick and that I'm sick, and they come up with all these reasons why they are sick. That's the wrong belief to cultivate, I promise you. That's not a belief of healing, that's not a belief of recovery, and that's not a belief of truth. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I take the stick, point it at myself, and curse myself? That's the most powerful thing that an individual can do. And it seems like it's perpetuated. It's almost popular to describe how sick we are. And the truth is, if we come to believe in a power greater than ourselves that could restore us to sanity. Now, could is an interesting word. Could is not a guarantee. Could means if I challenge the belief, if I argue the belief, if I go against the belief, if I cultivate the wrong belief, then there's no restoration. So could is not a guarantee. It means that this higher power could, but he will if I let him. So beliefs are very powerful. And hope is the principle as I understand it. And hope is literally the fuel that drives our dreams. It is the ability to cultivate a belief that, number one, we can recover, and number two, that it's the reason why we do the work. It's the reason that we submit ourselves to this process, because it is a rigorous process. It requires vigilance. It requires everyday attention. And it requires a constant monitoring of what I believe and challenging it. I got to challenge my belief systems. So in number one, they're saying you can make choices for yourself. And number two, it says be very careful what you choose to believe. It says believe in a higher power, not a lower power. So we start to come to understand that we can recover. We must recover. If we do not recover, then the possibility of relapse dramatically increases. And I don't want that for anyone. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. Although this may not be popular within the 12-step culture, this kind of talk of, complete recovery or complete freedom. I know it's possible. I know that it can happen. I've seen it happen for myself. I've seen it happen for countless others. And it's not that I'm arrogant or anything. It's that I understand the nature of this higher power and his ability to heal. He can heal us. The only limitations to this higher power's ability to heal me are the limitations I'm putting on this higher power. And if I'm putting limitations on this higher power, why would I do that? If I can develop this understanding myself and I create his characteristics, why would I create a higher power that's limited in power to heal me, to make me better? Just a belief. So I cultivate this belief. I work on this belief. I think about this belief. And I monitor all the time what I do believe and why I do believe it. These are important questions. They're the ancient philosophical questions that we all ask of ourselves. Is what do I believe? Because a lot of times when we get to the root of the problem, the exact nature, it's what we believed about ourselves and those around us that created the hell that we were living. So it's time to create a paradise. And the only way to know paradise is to have been through hell. So we stand in a very good position to make a dramatic change, a profound change in our personality, in our understanding, in our outlook on life, and to create a whole new existence, a whole new identity. Why would I sell myself short? This is the time to do it. Nobody's ever going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So why not get busy? Dream a little bit. Fill up your tank and get off the launch pad. Get rocketed to another dimension of reality, another dimension of existence, another dimension of understanding. Because if I don't create that for myself, the one I find myself in may not be too pleasing. And I don't want to recover to be unhappy, to be miserable, to be cynical, to be negative. I want to be pumped up, fired up, excited about everything that's going on. So this is the place to do it. So right away, they're telling you, 1, you have a choice. Number 2, choose carefully what you believe. Because the only way out